Alexa Bliss is once again breaking her silence about her WWE status, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's new for Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes, and more. Starting things off with the title implications for Crown Jewel and how that will all go down for the 4 world champions in the men's and women's division. It's a little bit of a controversial issue because Bad Blood did feature both women's titles being defended, but both men's titles were not defended on the show, and fans want to see the world title defended as much as possible. So they were hoping that Crown Jewel puts the men's world titles back on the card and back on the line, especially after Cody's big teaser for Crown Jewel, but that will not be happening at Crown Jewel after all. All 4 world titles will not be defended on the show, and instead they'll be world champion versus world champion matches in the men's and women's division to crown a new Crown Jewel champion. It's a cool concept in terms of us getting to see big Raw versus SmackDown matches, but in terms of stakes and things being on the line, there isn't much there. Sure, you got the newly introduced Crown Jewel title that are at stake, but it's already being reported that these titles are being exclusive to Saudi Arabia events and will not be seen with the winners after Crown Jewel. Kind of like the green title Braun Strowman got for winning the greatest Royal Rumble ever at Crown Jewel several years ago. He won the title, celebrated with it at the end of the show, and it was never seen or heard from again after that night. So that's what fans are expecting here. The winners of the respective men's and women's matches will celebrate with the new Crown Jewel titles, but we likely won't have a chance of seeing the title again until the next Crown Jewel event. So that fact does deflate those title stakes a bit. But on the bright side, it looks like they're going with these 2 co-main events, and it's sort of like the old format for Survivor Series and bragging rights. It's Raw's greatest talents going up against SmackDown's greatest talents. Fans are hyped for Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, regardless of the Crown Jewel title not sticking around after the event. This is still a big dream match for many fans, and they'll get to see it at Crown Jewel. And the same thing for Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. Sure, the match may not have hype around it like Cody versus Gunther, but like we discussed earlier in the week, Tiffany Stratton could make that matchup extremely more intriguing if she decides to cash in during it, because that means she could pin Nia or Liv for whatever title she wants. World Champion versus World Champion matches are a dream come true for Money in the Bank contract holders. So that's the big draw there with that matchup. Will Tiffany Stratton make her presence felt and steal one of those titles? So there'll be 2 double champions by the end of Crown Jewel, but the new titles are expected to go away until the next Saudi Arabia event. Big news just hit headlines for Rhea Ripley, and that's the report that WWE and herself have agreed to a new long-term deal. It's insane to really think about considering all that she has already accomplished and done. But Rhea Ripley hasn't even reached her true prime yet. Rhea just turned 28 years old and already has a Hall of Fame worthy career behind her. So considering that she's still one of the youngest stars on the roster, it looks like WWE wanted to lock her down for the long haul, and that's exactly what happened. Reports claim her new long-term deal also allegedly contains a massive increase in her salary. She's now being paid like the massive top star that she has become over the last few years. There's no official word on how long this new deal is, but hypothetically speaking, even if it was for around 5 years, that means when it's time to go back to the table to negotiate again, Rhea will still only be 33 years old. So Rhea Ripley still has a great long road ahead of her in the ring, and WWE is making sure those peak years of her career happens inside their ropes. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, one of the latest fan theories with her storyline right now is that she can sure use some extra help against Liv and Raquel. Damian and Rhea already said that they're going their separate ways, so she can't really depend on them anymore, especially when it comes to matters with Raquel. So fans feel like Rhea needs a member of the Raw women's division to help her out against Liv and Raquel. And looking at the babyface side of the Raw women's division, it's hard to find someone who's currently not entangled into a storyline that could help Rhea. The only option that seems like it fits and would make a bit of sense is for Becky Lynch to be Rhea's help against Liv and Raquel. Rhea and Becky did not get along at all for the first half of 2024. They spent those months being at each other's necks. But very similar and nearly identical to the situation with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Maybe Rhea and Becky can put their differences to the side and come together for the greater good of coming after a common enemy that screwed them both over, and in this case, that's Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan kicked off her current run by injuring Rhea Ripley backstage on the Raw after WrestleMania, and then just a few weeks after that, Liv Morgan ends up winning and stealing the women's world title from Becky Lynch. And then that same exact week again, Liv Morgan got another cheap win over Becky Lynch in the cage match to send Becky into her hiatus as a loser. So the big theme here is that Liv Morgan created two major rivals within that small time frame, and those two individuals are obviously Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. So if Becky and Rhea can find some common grounds and respect for each other to team up, then those two would be more than capable of taking down Liv, Raquel, and Dominic for that matter. They get their revenge on Liv Morgan together, and then from there on, who knows? Maybe the road leads back to another Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. The fans wouldn't mind that at all. Alexa Bliss continues to be a big topic of conversation for WWE fans. January 2025 will make 2 full years since she was last seen inside the ring, and fans have been starting to get worried about if we'll ever see her again in the ring. You have the Wyatt Six making their debut. Everyone assumed Alexa would be a part of the debut, but it did not happen. Then you had Lily appearing behind Liv Morgan. Everyone thought that was going somewhere, but there was no follow-up for that. Only a report that said Alexa wasn't expected back until early 2025. So it's been an absolute roller coaster of emotions for fans that have been patiently waiting 2 years for Alexa's return. It seems like Alexa herself is even getting a lot of questions about her status with WWE. She recently posted family pictures from a pumpkin patch, but she took to her Instagram story to respond to the insane amount of questions she was getting in her comments about WWE. Alexa had this to say, quote, "For all my questions in my comments, yes, I will be returning, but for now, please enjoy my current content," end quote. And it's not the first time Alexa said this same sort of statement either. Alexa might be cryptic about when and how she'll be returning to WWE, but she's pretty straightforward about how she's no doubt returning to the WWE ring to continue her career in the future. So it'll continue to be a waiting game for Alexa's return. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for more teasers or any hints that WWE may throw at the audience over the next few months. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.